Turns out my headset is dead. Give me a minute to change that. Welcome to another episode of Aurogiri, and today I wanted to talk about everything I've learned about Dullahan in the past 3 or 4 days. Had to pull out the fingers for that one. Anyway, so Dullahan is our new Purgatory raid boss, whatever you want to call him, Purg basically, and he functions very, very differently from the other Purgs in combat and in how his drop tables work, and how even his exchange shop in the Purg is different from the others. Like, it's actually it's really different in like a good way. So for starters, I want to talk about his recipes. So this Purg is different, as I'm mentioning, and the number one difference about Dullahan is that he is a new entity. It's not the other Purgs are essentially, it's the strongest Infernal Gargoyle, the strongest Sleek Gargoyle, the strongest Dragonarch, or the strongest iteration of Lucifer or Abyss. That's generally been the case. Like, they're pre-existing monsters that they raise their level up. You have to farm all their old stuff many, many times over, and you make a new weapon. But the thing with Dullahan is that he is a new entity. And he doesn't have a pre-existing farm, and this is probably something we're going to see going forward. We could see things like Yogg Purg, or even the Fox we're fighting right now in the event Purg, or whatever. Onigiri could do whatever they want. If they keep pumping out new weapons that look cool, they're going to do really, really well. Community-wise, like, everyone I've talked to is like, oh, this is cool. It's something new. Great, I love it. It's not just a direct one-up on something. So the main thing about Dullahan is that he actually drops his recipes. Normally in Purgatory, there's only one recipe. Well, actually, that's not true. You can buy the old recipes for Gargoyle, like Hell, I think. I don't know if you can get the normal or hard recipes. But generally, you could buy them for medals, but it was always like the opposite of a no-brainer. It was something you would never do because you would just farm the regular dungeon at a different time or have already previously done that. Dullahan, however, you're able to trade medals for every single recipe he has. And it's like, I think 80 for the normal recipes and 8,000 for the hell ones. However, which is normally the case in every other Purg, Dullahan drops his recipes in reward and physically as a drop. Like, if you've been farming hell for like an hour, maybe even 2 hours at most, you're going to have all 8 of these recipes. Like, I just searched by production costs, I mean all weapons, and every time you see like a corpse recipe, that's a Dullahan recipe. A level 133 weapon recipe, like traditionally associated with Purgatories. So there's the wand, corpse, the spear, the sword, the bow, the axe, the odachi, the staff, the twin swords. All 8 of them are there. They have a really high production cost, so you can find them right there. They have the same production cost as the Lucifer Purgatory 135s, just for comparison's sake. But basically, these recipes just drop. Like, if you just get in some runs for hell, you pop a boost, you're on fever right now, you're going to get these recipes. Like, it's actually so stress-free. Like, your treasures only go towards getting, realistically, they only go towards getting the Ogi at 1,000, the Mag at 50, 2,000, 8,000, and the Mag recipe at 9,000. And really, that's only if it takes you that long to get all your drops. It's actually really, really, really considerate for a Purg to be this generous. It's kind of surprising. And as for the regular recipes, the lower ones, you can trade for them in the shop. But if you run hard or even normal, you can get them. I've personally not got one on normal because I haven't run normal, but I've been told you can get them on normal. I got my spear recipe on hard, so I was like, okay, whatever. I'll do hard again later. These recipes are actually really good. the regular versions, because there's a 128 version and a 133 version. I was just talking about the 133s, but the 128 versions are actually like really, really accessible to everyone in this game. I was making the comparison. I was talking to people yesterday, and I think these first form of the Dullahan weapons, for those who play this event, those who at least get their recipe, because if you just get the recipe, you do not need Purg at all to make these 128 weapons. I made the comparison that these weapons are going to serve as essentially the second coming of Lancelot weapons power creep. So what I mean by that is, in the normal progression of the game, like back in the day, it was like you got your Night Sky, you got your Dragon Arc weapons, then you use that to get the Lucifer weapon, then you used whatever you had at your disposal to get the next thing, which was the Mephistopheles line of weapons, and then it was the Abyss, and at that point, that was like the Nadir was actually like the best thing, like it was like supposedly on paper, like a completion or a warp could be just as strong, but then Cyberstep added the Lancelot event, and it introduced the Reverence 3 and the Supreme, and the Supreme just completely power crept the Nadir, both in damage potential, like one of the few weapons with a damage multiplier, and it was a level 125 weapon, and it was way easier to farm than like the hundreds of hours it would take to get a Nadir. And it was like a power creep, not just in damage, but in acquisition. And these Dullahan weapons, the headless weapons, I think they're all headless. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think they're all headless. The headless set of weapons. They're 128 weapons, and their acquisition is actually like 100% free to play. Like 90%. Like if you can beat Mephistopheles, you can get this weapon. Absolutely guaranteed. Like these weapons, their acquisition is very, very easy. The only thing that's troubling is Empty Grave and Retrograde Elixir. Like if you can't beat Purple Mephi, that's the only like hurdle in your way. But chances are there's gonna be tons of people farming this stuff, because for the big weapons, you're gonna need 1,000 of these drops. But apart from Purple Mephi, like this weapon, if you can just like get your recipe and just get in with some runs, it's actually gonna like be a power creep. Like the 128 is going to be like the new norm at this point, and beyond the point of like Darkfin and stuff. Like this weapon is going to be like not as good as Darkfin, but it's got lightning instead of ice. But it's like I want this weapon. Like it's actually really good. Like if you were going from like, let's say, I don't know, Reverence 3 to something else or whatever, this weapon's actually a huge jump. The headless weapons. So just to review the recipe, just to bring this out here, you just need your Mephistopheles base weapon, not even Vow, not Completion, not Warp, not Nadir, none of that. The base Mephistopheles weapon that can be identified. You just need that at 100, and then you're going to need a secondary one at 50. That is it. That is like such a low artisan commitment, actually. Then you're going to need 100 of Mephis like regular drop, and then 50 of regular Mephis like harder drop, but they both drop all the time. Then you're going to need 100 Retrograde Elixir and 50 Empty Graves. Then there's these other items, which are old school stuff that no one farms. Like we would get these stuff from breaking down mags. We didn't even know what to do with them. So Fox Mask finally has a use. You need 50 Fox Masks and 30 Seshoseki fragments. Seshoseki fragments were and are currently used for the air cleaving sword, I believe. One of the 105 weapons needed to craft or to do the quest for veterans weapon. It was one of the better ones to farm if you had them in bargains or you broke them down in mags. I think you could get these from some of like the Cockatoo or Thoroughwort kind of line of mags. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I break down mags all the time, and I like from the moon and stuff, and I'll just end up getting this stuff. And then there's the Tanuki Pelt and Shigaraki, and they drop from Mudboat Tanuki. And basically, you can't do Sekigahara. From what I hear is you cannot do Sekigahara's dungeon to get Seshoseki Fragment and Fox Mask. Like, Like, you have to go do the thing where you fight the leaders of Sekigahara, whatever. It's the fox and the tanuki. Basically, you have to fight the regular versions. So the fox mask and Sesshu fragments, you're going to get those in the Horikudo lines. It's in Clover Pit. Like, literally just leave Kaga, like, through the big doors on the right, and you'll be, like, right at Clover Pit. It's like a maze-like dungeon. I did a bit of it last night just to see what it was like, and I got a fox mask every run. But it's like, until you get the pattern down right, it actually takes a while. I recommend running it with friends. And the walls are paper thin, so be careful where you're like using Makami or you're dashing or Eternal Warring or whatever, because you'll fall right through the... If you like dash too hard, you're gonna like go right through the walls and have to restart the run. Or like without killing anything, but it'll send you back start. And as for Tanuki Pelt and Shigaraki, these can be farmed in Karaka Cave. It's in Tanegashima, past the cat house. It's like if you had like House of Hinawa, and then you have like the dungeon across from House of Hinawa. It's like the next one down the line. It's not the one at the end of Tanegashima, but it's the one in the middle. And at the end of it, you fight a bunch of worms and ants in the dungeon, some heads. And then at the boss, it's the Mudboat Tanuki. There's only one, and you can get the drop from him there. There's no energy involved, so just get some friends, run it, watch a show. You need 30 Shigaraki and 50 Tanuki Pelt. It's going to be like, sort of like the new islands, but like way less of a commitment. Absolutely way less than that. Then lastly, you need 100 Thunderstones, 100 Darkstones, 100 Aidama, and 10 Myrtle Gems, and 10 Obsidian Gems. So you don't need Scarlet, you don't need Cerulean. If you need Myrtle Gems, most exchange shops in every event has Myrtle Gems, so take advantage. I'm not sure if the one we have right now has them or not, but I'm pretty sure it does. But either way, you can't rely on that. If you really need Myrtle Gems, you can farm either Mine of Delusions or Mountain of Thorns. Mountain of Thorns is my preferred drop source of Myrtle Gems, because actually every fly, every worm on like the second floor beyond, on average, has a chance of dropping those gems on a boost or fever, which we considerably coincidentally have right now, which should be taken advantage of when you're low on energy or whatever. And the boss itself can drop Myrtle Gems. I find Geiso Worm is the best source of that. I'm getting a lot of chat. I'm gonna go chatter. I'm gonna go check that out real quick. I'm getting questions, so I appreciate that. Do I play on PS4? I play on PS5 actually. Like, I'm on Sony. Like, we play on the same. I see you in game. I know who you are. I'm on PlayStation. I play on the PlayStation 5, but it's the same server. Yeah, absolutely. Like, when your energy's low, like, just run for stuff. Would I recommend making the 128 if you... Yes, absolutely. Oh, you're asking Yuki. Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't say that. Hey, Woody, how you doing? Hey, I know who that is. Anyway, yeah, I fully recommend everyone make this weapon. Like, if you were in a rut, like you were like, oh man, I don't want to do Darkfin, man, I can't get runs for Leviathan, or man, I can't get this, I can't get that. This weapon's like, hey, I can get this. You know, like, the only hurdle in my mind for like intermediate players, or, you know, anywhere below that, is the empty graves and retrograde elixirs. But realistically, people, like, once people are done farming their Dullahans, whether it's one weapon or two they're going for, I predict by like midweek to the end of this weekend, players are going to be doing retrograde elixir and empty grave farming with like KG. You go in. I was doing it yesterday. Like, I had to, like, people wanted to do like some purg runs, and I had like half an hour, so I was just farming Mephi, and I was doing like 30-second runs. So like, there's people that are just gonna have KG, and they're just like, yeah, just come get your drops. It's fever. I don't really care. Just come on. And it's like a minute a run, and you get like 1 or 2 elixirs a run, and I was getting like graves every other run. Like, the fever was pretty good. I popped to 100%. It was pretty solid. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so Clover Pit, Karaka Cave, and then Myrtle Gems. Obsidian Gems, literally just go to Lacus Mortis. Just walk around on Hell, kill everything. You'll get gems. Don't even worry about it. It's not... It's totally a non-issue. Like Obsidian Gems, these things we trade in all the time. Now, that's to make one of these weapons. Now, in terms of the corpse, the 133 version, you need all 8 of these weapons. So you're not just making one, you're making all 8 of them. So that's why I'm saying, like, get some buddies together and just, like, no life these dungeons. Just get... Because I did it by myself and I was getting bored. Like, because you don't... Like, I don't get experience anymore at 140. Like, there's nothing... nothing that really... I don't really gain anything from these dungeons apart from that. It's sort of like Islands. Like, it's kind of draining, but it's, like, a fraction of what Islands was. What was that? Yeah, for sure. Like, we're working on, like, me and Lyra were talking last night. Like, we're trying to, like, contact JP Cyberstep customer service to see what they can do, because you can't contact like the North American customer service team anymore. You have to, like, send them messages translated to their Japanese, like, Twitter or the Japanese customer service, and you kind of need to, like, write your message out in English and then translate it to Japanese, and then you have to, like, communicate with them, like, with Google Translate, and, like, send them all stuff in Japanese. Like, if you need customer support in this game right now, that's pretty much the avenue that has worked. Like, we were talking to people that have had account related problems get resolved, and they're sharing our experiences with us, and that's how that's going. But yes, thank you for the support. It is rough. I've been trying to get him to, like, you know, come make this weapon. I'll carry you. You could, like, take an alt and you could have, like, 3 of these weapons and you'd be, like, really good off. Anyway, so to make one of these, you do need 8 of these weapons at 50. Your own at 100. That's staple for perk. But you do need to make all 8 of them. You need 30 selfless crystals. Dullahan drops these pretty regularly. They're not used for anything else. It's the Heavenly Mirage of Dullahan. It really serves no purpose. It shouldn't even be a drop. Then the actual 133 weapon, it just double the whole recipe. You need, like, 200 hemlocks, 100 homunculus, 200 elixirs, 100 graves, 100 fox masks, 50 seshuseki, 100 tanuki pelts, 50 shigaraki, 200 thunderstones, 200 darkstones, 200 idama, 30 cerulean, 30 scarlet, 50 friggin' myrtles, goddamn, and then 30 ivory and 50 obsidian gems, then 30 heavenly marbles, 30 earthen marbles. These are really easy to farm if you go to Rezui Island, or just go to Rezui Island. Like, I get this stuff all the time there. And then you need, of course, 70 of the Purgatorium's Hell Drop. Yeah, you need about 1,000 retrograde elixirs. I'm reading the comment. They said you need about 10 times the materials. Basically, in total, you're going to need, like, whatever I just said times 8, and then plus another 1 times 2. So you're going to need about 1,000 retrograde elixir. Like, people are going to be farming Mephi a lot. Like, I could give you the numbers, but I'd rather you guys just make one weapon at a time instead of thinking, I need like 300 Shigarakis. This sucks. But in terms of just making one, I do really recommend it. And if you get, like, I mean, everyone's going to get the recipe if they run Hell. Like, it's such a non-issue. Like, the treasures are all just get your mags, basically. The mags are good, though. They're definitely good. So yeah, I do recommend getting the 128 weapons. They're very, very friendly. Apart from purple Mephi and, like, regular Mephi, if you can't do those, that's kind of your wall. But if you can get with someone that can, I do recommend running this stuff. Everything else is pretty cut and dry. It's pretty simple. It's not like, here you go, it's free. It's like, hey, just go farm this. There's no energy cost. Apart from Dullahan, there's 0 energy cost involved in this. Yes, exactly. If you've run Islands, this should be a cakewalk to you. Good analogy. So there's that. Real quick, I'm going to go look at Rukido, the exchange shop, really quickly. Because I know we have talked about this stuff on Well, I appreciate that. 3 of those people were in my group. Oh, they still are, actually. But just like I was saying, I talked about this on stream lately, but there's never been like a coercive, like a simple, hey, let's talk about Dullahan. It's all new stuff. People have questions. So in these exchange shop, I recommend grabbing the mags. The mags are good. Like they're not like the best mags in the world, but they're very solid mags. The baby mag, which is like, it's level 100. It's not going to be the best thing ever. It has 5 backstrike on it, 50 skill force. If you're over 80% HP, you get 1,500 attack, which is about half a Tempest. And then you get SP recovery, 10 critical force, 10 crit on the mag by default, which is huge. That's a whole free Fated Contractor and a half. Like a whole free Avenger on monsters on your mag. And then 40 dark, 20 lightning, and then you lose HP. You do not heal manually. You have to eat food or use Chiami to make these mags work, like if you want to heal. But I think it's kind of a non-issue at this point. Because most people, like, unless you're Spear, you don't really heal, like, constantly. Most players just pop a Shenlong anyway. And then it reduces your movement speed, your Holy, and your Mountain Element, and durability. And it just gets better as it goes. So, like, the rank 2, for 2,000 treasures, you're going to get 100 skill force, and then if you have over half health, over 60%, you get another 30 skill force. So 130 skill force, that's already, like, fuse levels of skill force, I think. And then you get, like, 1,500 more attack, you get crit force, critical, 60 dark, 30 lightning, and then you don't heal, you go negative holy. They're essentially like a thunder, and they're universal skill force at that. I find, I kind of equate them to being a dark thunder tempest. Because if you look at the elements, Tempest used to have 50 to one element, 30 to another, and that was huge. This mag already has 60 dark, 30 lightning, and that's already Tempest element level. And then the skill force isn't Tempest level, but it's really good. It has 2 ornamentation slots, and it's pretty much the same jazz as before, negative holy, negative mountain, etc. The third one, which does cost 8,000 treasures, I believe. It does give you backstrike as well, which does translate to the Vanguard. It's one of the only ways to get backstrike on a Vanguard. This one has 3 ornamentation slots. It gives you 150 skill force no matter what. And then if you are over half, you'll get another 40 skill force. So 190 skill force over 60%, which is huge. And then if your HP is over 80%, you get 1,500 attack as per usual. 20 critical force, 15 free crit on a triple ornamentation mag. I don't know what type these are yet. I don't know if you can do Avenger on monsters. I don't know what's in store for it. But let's say you did like triple Fated. You could be having like 15, 30. You could have like 37 crit on one mag triple Fated. Like realistically. If you have Tempest, do you need the Fire Knowledge? You should get the Fire Knowledge. So you're saying Tempest as in Sword Tempest, and Sword Tempest does have fire. The big advantage to getting Katerion mags and Lucent mags, which do exist right now, it's just a question, is that there could come a time where you're going to need something that's not within your class. Like if you're doing Blitz Tiamat Oni mode and you're a sword user and you really, really hate when the ice Tiamat starts flying around and throwing its balls everywhere and it's annoying, you could switch to a bow and triple blaze sanction that and use it with Katerion mags and get like full damage on an aerial target or have range basically. I recommend getting at least 3 of them. Of anything, like 3 Lucents, 3 Katerions. Even if you have Tempest, like I made that mistake of being ignorant. Like I was like, oh, I'm not going to grab Thunder knowledges because I have Thunderquakes. But I can't tell you the last time I put on Thunderquakes. So and knowledges kind of fit into builds a bit better as the meta evolves and you use bigger mags and you need smaller mags that work. I recommend it. I recommend getting it absolutely. How many runs would it? You asked how many runs would it take to get the last mag? To get the second one? That's correct. It would take 50 runs. If you want the Ogi and the middle mag, it would take 75 runs of hell. If you do get some Oni modes, that cuts your energy cost and stuff down, but it makes your soul egg count go up. Oni mode, I don't really recommend it. in this one specific perg, Oni mode is not necessary. Like, realistically, all it is you get 80 treasures for a lower energy cost 3 times a day. Chances are, if you're running perg, you're restoring, you're running, you're getting... The treasures are a secondary focus when it comes to perg. Like, if you're only going for the Ogi, yes, you want those Oni modes, you want to conserve your energy. That's fine. But this time around, because, like, the main draw of Oni mode for a lot of us is that, oh, we could get our recipe for free. Oh, we could get the mag recipe for free. You know, you could get something. Yes, you can get mags in reward. You can also get them on Hell as well. I've gotten the normal mag in reward on Oni mode in the past, in different Pergonis, but I don't think it should be the main focus. Like, I've talked to a lot of people, a lot of players, and they're not really feeling the Oni mode. Like, the Oni mode kind of takes a long time. Yes, we all passed out. I actually went and chilled, but yes, hello. You get the 133. Yeah, you get the recipes from Hell every run. Every run you're on boost, you get a recipe. I'll show you a picture right now, okay? Like, I don't even have to do a picture, okay? Like, look. I meant a picture, but like, okay, so these are all the Hell recipes. Like, these are the ones that drop on Hell, the ones we normally save up 9,000 treasures to get. This is like, either you go for the Ogi or the recipe, like traditionally. Okay, look, I have 25 of these for the sword, 31 for the Odachi, 32 for the twin swords, 30 the axe, 34 of the spear, 43 of the bow, 31 of the, what is this, the wand, and 33 of the staff recipe. Like, these recipes drop. They drop on, like, you'll get the normal ones on hard or normal, and you'll get the 133s on Hell. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, like, these drop. Don't worry about it. You're gonna get these. They're not tradable, but like, you do not trade for the recipes this time. Like, it's so nice. Like, the only use you have for medals is this Ogi, which is good. I haven't gotten it yet because I'm waiting to get the mag recipe first. That's like my bigger goal, is to grab the mag recipe, and then after that I'll focus on other things. Just because, like, I don't know. I'm just like that. I like to reward myself. I haven't gotten it yet, but it is a 9-hit Oogie, and the first hit can do damage cap, and the other 8 hits can do 2 to 3 million damage. I saw a video of Kurenai fighting Lucifer with it on a Darkfin Spear. The first hit was like really close to damage cap, and then the other 8 hits were like 2-3 mil a tick. It was really good, really powerful, really good with damage multipliers and stuff. It's kind of like, yeah, if you find the right build, like, if it was actually on, it's 100% Dark Ogi, I think. It's not, like, you can put it on anything. Dark Fin, this weapon, yeah, like, whatever, like, even a Chaos Pupil, like, whatever you got that's dark, you can put it on. It's pretty cool. And it's got multi-hits, so it'll heal you with Chiami. It's very, very low durability. Someone said it hit, like, 6 mil in Palace of Rain Oni. I don't know if that's, like, with backstrike from behind. I don't know what gimmicks they did to pump that out, but the Oogie's not even leveled yet, and it's doing really good damage. And it's not like invincibility like Abyss's Ogi, but it's really good supplementary. Like, it's a good tool to have in your arsenal, so I do recommend that as well. And even if you just ran, like, if you're like going for the 128 weapon, you have no desire for the 133. I have not made the 128 weapon yet. I don't know how good those Ogies are. I started perusing it, but I haven't run Clover Pit enough. I have to run Clover and Karaka Cave a bunch, and then I could make it, no problem. But I haven't got on that yet. I'm still focusing on getting all the perk drops. Right. So yeah, the Ogie's good. Like, everything's good. Everything's great. Take advantage of this. So the next big thing, and the reason this is titled like a pro tips thing, is because I've learned things within Perg that are important. Okay, So, in this fight, Dullahan seemingly has 3 health bars: a green health bar, a yellow health bar, and a red health bar. So in the fight, how the fight goes, you kill the first body, he teleports everywhere, so always hit him with like burst damage. Like you can't use long-lasting moves like a stationary target, like the Dragon Arcs are. Like they're always there. You just like unload, unleash, unleash. You have to be more like aware because he's gonna teleport every second move. So when I'm using Honda, I'm actually using the Shinden attack a lot because it's a quick burst of like 3 or 4 caps. It's not like her other attacks where she stabs. You'll see me use it all the time. Or big lasers, like it's sustained damage over like a long duration of time. They're not as good as quick burst damage that does good damage. Like even KG's charge up attacks, like things on Mephi, yeah, you'll use those and you'll see them pump out tons and tons of hits of damage caps and high damage. But on this guy, he's very, very stationary. Not stationary, actually. He teleports all the time. So stationary attacks don't work. It's better to use like burst damage on the guy. Stuff that hits quick and fast, and you get a lot of hits out. One strategy you can employ is like if you notice whoever's drawn aggro on the guy. Like if you're in a party, his aggro swaps all the time. Like if whoever he teleports behind, like if you're in a voice chat, say, hey, he's behind me. And that gives your crew like, oh, okay, I know where he is. One strategy you can do is drag him to a corner. It might take some time. Like if you have KG or a mount, you can distract him and bring him to the corner, much like how we used to do Lucifer, Purgatory, things like that. It takes some time for him to walk over. I feel like when he's walking, he's like an old man crossing the street. But he'll teleport over time, and he'll come to the corner. And when he comes to the corner, you will basically eliminate like 75% of the radius in which he can appear. So he'll only going to appear in a cone in front of you. And like it'll allow your whole team to just like blow him up. It works in Oni mode. Like I've been the kite, and I just like... Someone kept invigging me, and I just kept icicle punishmenting just to be invincible and stuff. And they just like unloaded on him from behind. And that works. And the same thing can be done on Hell. Like you can get runs with like a couple KGs or whatever, and they're like sub 4 minutes, sub 3 minutes. Like it really helps, especially for KGs. For Honda, it doesn't matter because her attacks pivot. Like you can move while using them. Anyway, there's another tip is when you kill Dullahan and you're waiting for the head to spawn, make sure you're watching your mini map. This thing over here that like it has like no purpose in dungeon because we know what the dungeons are like. If you watch your mini map, you'll notice that there's always orange dots where the enemies are. Like a lot of the times it doesn't really matter because you'll go one shot them all or whatever. Or it's like, oh, it's the boss. I can clearly see him. But Dullahan, his headless body will be around and it will be a constant orange dot. But when the head spawns, it actually shows up on the map before the head actually appears for like a second or two. So when you're waiting for the head to spawn, look on your map for the orange dot, and that will give you an indication of where it's going to be. And it's like a rough estimate. It's not perfect, but you can find it and just start hitting it before, before it really materializes and starts using its pushback attack and darkness and stuff. But really, like when I'm running with people, I'm telling them, hey, check your map. And see what's going on there. So that's one pro tip. The second pro tip I mentioned before, or the thing I wanted to really talk about, was Dullahan has 3 health bars seemingly. That is incorrect. Dullahan is 3 different enemies. He is not just one enemy with multiple health bars like the chocolate monsters and stuff. He is 3 different enemies because I've noticed that each Dullahan, like after you beat the first form, the second form has different attack patterns and different, like they have the same attacks, but they have different patterns. They'll use different, like almost Ogies if you want. Like they'll use different attacks. Like he'll do more of his charge and do the horizontal wide sweep, or he'll do this like big combo attack in like phase 3. So he's actually 3 different Dullahans, all named Dullahan. And the only reason I know this is because I was playing with, I believe, Woody. He's in the chat right now. And like I was playing with a lot of people, and people when they get in the dungeon late, and sometimes we just start the run before them, if you kill Dullahan 1, and if you kill the first Dullahan, which causes him to split up, spawn his headless Dullahan form, and the head form, if someone loads into the dungeon after phase 1 has already happened, they do not actually physically see they are not physically in dungeon present for Dullahan to exist, that person loses their drops. I've had this happen a lot with people that get in late, and like our party just goes balls deep. We blow up Dullahan really quick, and we get the first one dead. If someone loads in after the first Dullahan is destroyed, they will not get drops at the end because they were not there for the initial spawn of the boss. So that's something we notice. Like if someone like loads in late to like Gakaho Purg or any other Purg, you're still going to get drops because you were there for the kill of that monster. Like you were there while that original form was there. However, with Dullahan, he is considered 3 different monsters. So like let's say you load in at the start and like they kill the second one, you're not going to get drops. You're going to get clear rewards. You're going to get clear rewards, but you're not going to get the drops, which is better than nothing. So you're asking, what if you DC? So, okay, so we're going to talk about the 2 scenarios. So the first scenario, and this is anecdotal evidence, this is what we found out. So right now, you guys may or may not have noticed that we have the glitch that was happening during Honda's event and Lucifer Purg, basically, where if like everybody's in the dungeon and somebody DCs loading into the dungeon and they close app, everybody in the party gets ejected and everyone loses their energy. Like hopefully you guys are familiar with this in some way or shape or form. It happened a couple times when I was streaming, I think Friday night or Saturday or Friday night. So I was in a party chat with some people and we were talking, and one guy said, "Oh no, I DC'd." And we have like a party of like 3 kgs and a Honda, and I'm like full. And he's like, "Oh no, I DC'd." And I said, "You stay right there." I told him, "You stay on that screen. Let us finish this fight." And so he's staying on, this was Smoker. He's staying on the load screen, okay? Because he can't load in. I'm like, "You stay there. Don't DC us." So we go and kill the first Dullahan because we were waiting for him to come in. So we were waiting to start. So we go and kill the first Dullahan, and he's on his phone or whatever. Like he's like, "Oh, I'll just sit here till they're done." You know, it's common courtesy. And we kill the first Dullahan, and he turns or he hears something. His game loaded. Because a new boss spawned in the game, like, "Oh, I can load that," and he broke through the DC. He broke through the DC because the game's like, "Oh, there's new information to load," and he loaded in. And he's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Oro, what the hell did you do?" I said, "You're in here. Be happy." He's like, "What?" So I know I just never see it often. It's only like nowadays I'm seeing it. Anyway. So he got back in because the new boss loaded. Because Dullahan 2 spawned, and he loaded in for that. And then it was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then we killed that Dullahan, then we killed the final Dullahan, and he got in, he got his rewards, but he didn't get his drops. And that's what led me to understand like how Dullahan works. Like I'm like, "Oh my god, people got to know this." Like if your party starts the Dullahan fight, kills Dullahan before someone loads in, that guy doesn't get drops. That guy only gets rewards. So you got to be really considerate with Dullahan if you're like a really fast party. Like, you know, like do it in reason. If someone's like, it's been like 3 minutes, and someone's not coming in the dungeon, like they're not coming in because they can't. But like, yeah, if someone loads in after the first Dullahan dies, they don't get drops. They get the rewards, but they don't really mean much anymore. But they will not get their drops. And if someone DCs, just stay on the line until the party kills the first form, and there's a chance you could load in. So that's cool. What is he weak to? Dullahan is a bit strong to mountain, and he's a bit strong to holy. If we check Dullahan's monster card, because he actually has a monster card, this is the partner screen. Dullahan does have a bestiary. I will confidently tell you that Dullahan is weak to nothing. So he's at the bottom, 160 down here. So Dullahan, I've got 93 cards from him so far. He is very strong to fire, very strong to ice, very strong to lightning, very strong to dark, very strong to rain, bit strong to mountain, very strong to wind, bit strong to holy, and very strong critical resistance. So it says nothing about Slice, Pierce, and Impact, so those moves are kind of your best bet. Someone told me Impact doesn't really work, so maybe they ran out of room on the card. I don't know. Basically, if you use something 100% Dark, it's going to miss. 100% Ice will hit him. I'm pretty sure Lightning misses on him too. I've never tried. Mountain and Holy are kind of your best bets. Weight of the Earth Sublime on Wand is really good. And Judgment Cross, the Holy attack from Lucifer, does do... It can tick for like 3 mil a tick. It's pretty good. That hits like 10 times. So that's great. 30 mil. But apparently, when you use a Vanguard, Dullahan just takes damage. Like, I found, like, as a player, even with the Gakaho weapon, like the Purg 133, I don't do, like, a lot of damage in my attacks to him, like, at all. Like, I found my Wind as strong as my Mountain, which was ridiculous. Does he say something about Wind? He does. He resists Wind completely. So basically, like, Wind, Mountain are your good avenues to use. But in my honest opinion, try to use the right element, but the best thing you can do is, like, use a Vanguard. That's the right type for Dullahan. Fighting things that are, like, good monster type, like, I'll be, like, a player and, like, do, like, no damage. I'll switch to KG, cap. Makes no sense. Honda, cap. Like, her Honda caps anyway, that doesn't matter. Honda's the wrong typing, actually. Lightning misses from what you've seen? Makes sense. He's a dark lightning enemy. But yeah, Mountain and Holy are the good avenues to go, but Ice actually works. Like Icicle Punishment, Ice Dragon Spiral, things like that. If you get behind them with the Dark Fin, they do good damage. I don't think Fire is that effective on him. Yes, I've used Riku on him once, and I used Proto Detonator, and it hit a lot. But the thing about Proto Detonator is it's not 100% lightning. Riku's mountain attacks do pretty good. Like when you bring the rocks up from the ground, they cap every time. I find it's hard to hit with their spin attack though. Sugumo's Ice Meteors cap on him. I've only ever seen those Vanguards in the dungeon. Zunko does okay. I don't get to see her ticks, but I've seen people use Zunko for the Holy. Personally, I use Honda. Most people use KG. Not many people really fill up Vanguards. Despite how good of a strategy it is, I do not witness it a lot of other people filling up Vanguards. So I don't know the full scope of like what's good on him, what's not. Part of me thinks that 150 Miyamoto would be okay if you used like Heart and Aggression and like the Holy Spin Attack move, but I've never tried. I don't know. But it's generally like quick burst damage that does a lot of damage is good. Like I've seen people using Sugamo, KG, Honda, Riku, characters like that. Yeah. But yeah, like even if you want the 128 weapon, you just need the recipes. You do not need any of his drops. They are only his specific drops are only used for the 133. They have no impact on the 128 weapon at all. So that's great. So very quickly, I guess I'll go do a run of each dungeon of where to farm the stuff for making the weapon. So I mentioned Clover Pit and I mentioned Karaka Cave. I'm just going to run those real quick. I completely forgot horses existed. I'm going to be honest with you. Because I was running it last night. I'm like, man, this is hard. It is a long dungeon actually. I'm not gonna lie. It is a long dungeon. If you have any Vanguards that do have drop boost like as part of their kit, I recommend them, like things like Genbu, if you have the swimsuit, Miyamoto, if you have her shopping outfit. Fire misses, okay, cool. Yeah, I saw one guy trying to fill up with his raid bow, and that combo completely misses. I don't know what raid's combo is, whether it's fire or dark, or both, but it just misses. Like, so fire, dark, lightning, don't use those things. I mean, it kind of stands to reason that you would not do that. So the fastest way to get to Clover Pit is through Kaga. I tried to go to the lines, and if you teleport to the lines directly, you're at like the ass end of where you need to be. You're just like the opposite direction. Oh, you used an Ice Guard bow? Okay. Yeah, that should work. Combo card. So basically, you go to Kaga, and then you just walk around, whatever. It's the door over to the right over here. This is the door you want to head on through. And this is Horikuri the first lines. You know, I call this pro tips, but it's probably just going to be like a guide on how to like farm this thing. I wanted to mention stuff like, you know, look at the map. Like if we see the map right now, you'll see that the enemies are like they're on the map. Like you can see the map here. That's where the enemies are. That's what I was mentioning. Like in Dullahan, like you'll see that with the head and stuff. I know you said you're doing a Clover Pit for an hour. I can't commit to that right now because I have to farm skill card dungeon. Originally, I was just going to talk about this while farming a skill card dungeon, but I chose not to because I'd rather like show you guys visuals. Because I need to get Whirlwind Thrust 7. So there's Clover Pit. This dungeon has chests throughout it and at the end that can drop orange glass marbles and ash glass marble and things like that. It was actually the only place early game besides ACM to get an orange glass marble to create Chiami. So, like, I used to farm this 7 years ago. I haven't been here since, like, last night. Lots of little sandals, mobs. If you have a horse, you can just run over everything. I kind of recommend a horse more so than, like, Makami. Because, like, if you use, like, Hakusen too much, you're going to fall through the walls in the next part of this dungeon. But, I mean, if that's your only mount, like, you know, do what you got to do. Don't let me stop you. I do recommend running with multiple people, though. This dungeon is long. It is a maze. I don't even know where I'm going right now. Like, you go in, it's basically very simple. You go in, you kill every room. And then, like, sometimes the doors, like, don't open. Like, you clear this room, the door doesn't open. You have to go back. You have to go forward. Like, this is one of those extra dungeons when, like, Kaga was endgame. That was just, like, completely not needed. And they just made it. Like, it's a really twisty thing to do. Really? So fire does miss. Okay, that's what I thought. So you kill everyone in this room, and then this hallway opens. You come down here. Once you get to this gate, you kind of know you're going the right way. You have to go around and around. You kill these two Yagyos. Oh, it's something else, this dungeon. And this opens. Dang, first room done. Now you'll notice the music changes to boss music. We're not bossing yet. It's actually a lie. The boss isn't on this floor. It got me. Like, I came in this room, I vanguarded, I'm like, where's the boss? So then the door opens on the left. You walk around, kill all these guys. Like, this is kind of, like, very similar to, like, farming the tree boss. Like, it's just a long dungeon. Nothing you can do about it. Just bring people with you. Hope they load fast. And this door opens. Like, I have to reapply Brandishing Bolt a lot. And I have like a 4-scroll Raijin, so not the max cooldown. This door opens. You can actually get lost. If you like go in these hallways, you can go the wrong way. You'll like find chests and stuff. Like, I'm already lost. There's the door. The door opens. You do this room. Absolutely. You're looking for that room. Then the room in here opens. Like, don't leave. And this is the last room here. Like, I've only run this like 3 times. But that's literally the run. That's about as you know, like, work on that. It's just gonna get better from there. I'm gonna use shopping on Miyamoto. We are on Fever. I do have premium. So kill him. We get a Fox Mask. So I didn't even get a Sashuseki, even though I'm on 150% plus that drop boost. There's 3 chests here. We did about 3 minutes. That's not bad with the horse. We used to steel attack these chests back in the day, just like what you do with Cat. We really don't know if it works or not, but you might as well. You can get orange glass marble from it. And that's Clover Pit. I think it takes you out right outside the dungeon. I'm not sure. I think so. The lines would take you out across the world, and it takes you right outside Clover Pit. So that's Clover Pit. That's where that is. Let's head back to Kaga. Take the crystal from there. So the next dungeon you have to farm for the Tanuki pelts and Shigaraki is in Tanegashima. I mentioned that earlier. Also, when you do fight Dullahan, in rewards and drops, you can sometimes just get some of this stuff. Like, I've gotten a bunch of Fox Masks. I've gotten maybe like 7 Shigarakis, a couple Tanuki pelts, because I didn't have any of those drops. I never farmed that stuff. But Dullahan actually does drop a lot of nice stuff. It's not just, hey, you have 500 jewels. What can I do with it? Nothing. Oh, okay. You need 10. Oh, all right. So Tanegashima, it's at the other end of the rift. And you just got to go past the beach once you get there. And also, it is fever time, so like after you've done the majority of what you need from Dullahan, or you've used your energy in the other event, I do recommend, you know, just farming it. Like, you might as well. And if you only want just one 128 weapon, you could probably make this in a day. Like if you had like a whole day off or something, you know. Because you just need, what, 50 Fox Mass and 30 Seshuseki? You'd probably get that. Like, that's 50 runs. And then it all comes down to the Seshuseki at that point. And even more so, you just need more anyway, so just keep farming. Like, in terms of getting the 133. I'm not sure if Mephi mags break down into Fox Mask and stuff. I'm not sure. I did break down some mags the other day, and I did get a Fox Mask, but I didn't think to look what it was, so if anyone breaks down any mags and they get Fox Mask, Seshuseki, Tanuki stuff, if any at all, you know, let us know. Even Tenryu Flame 5 crits, yeah, like, it's really, because he's weak to Holy, right? So the dungeon we're looking for, it's not that hole that doesn't lead to anywhere. It's this second dungeon here, Karaka Cave. I believe it's called Karaka Cave. Yeah, Karaka Cave. You'd run it on hell, presumably. Like, I've never done it on hard. This dungeon's kind of long. I never done it with a horse, but there's a lot of little mobs everywhere. Like, little ants, and they'll go underground, and I DC'd. I can't show you this run. Goddamn. I literally did nothing. But at least you guys know where the dungeon is, right? So that's the 2 dungeon locations. That's Karaka Cave. Basically, Clover Pit was more of a maze. I'd rather show you guys that one. This dungeon is pretty straightforward. Walk around, kill all the mobs, go to the next floor, walk around, kill all the mobs. Then Mudboat Tanuki's at the end. I think he's weak to water. At this level, if you're farming a 128 weapon, you'll curb stomp him. I have full faith in you. It's not bad at all. So yeah, I fully recommend getting these 128 weapons. Again, remember these 4 things with Dullahan is that if someone DCs, they can stay on the line and still like catch the run. Someone asked earlier what happens if like one thing we've noticed is in the past, like you would like DC or something, you'd crash in dungeon and you'd reload the dungeon. Like let's say you're doing Gakkaho Purg or something, or a Dragon Arc Purg, and you would like crash mid dungeon. You could like close your app and then open your app and you could rejoin the dungeon. However, sometimes you would rejoin and not get drops. And like sometimes you would just rejoin and you would not see the boss and you'd have to like quit and reload again. That does not work for Dullahan because by the time your party's doing stuff, he's probably have changed phase. So you can rejoin and get the rewards guaranteed, but the drops are kind of forfeit at that point. Again, if you DC, stay on the line until your party's out. Try to get them to send you a PSN message or something like that so that, you know, everybody at least doesn't all lose their energy. So keep that in mind. Like if you DC, just say, hey, I DC'd, and like send that in a PSN message or be in a party chat or something. Because it really helps, because no one wants to make everybody lose 60 energy. It happens a lot. So yeah, Dullahan Weapons, I fully recommend them. Apart from just getting the recipes, if you want the 128s, everything else is just farmable in game. And then the 133s, you just do it all 8 times. So that said, that'll end this stream. I'll see you guys in the next one. People are asking if I'm going to farm Purg later. Probably. I'll see how it goes, and I'll let you guys know. I might throw up a stream. We'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this helps, and, share the information to everybody. Have a good day.